Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting opening trap that you can play with black and crush your opponent within move 18, just like I did against 2000 plus rated opponent. You can see my opponent is rated 2077 on chess.com, and you wanna know what to play against d4, then this is the video for you. Everyone's favorite, the King's Indian defense, and yes, we are going for it. So my opponent started the game with this d4, knight f6, c4, d6, knight c3, g6, and these are usual lines in the King's Indian defense. Bobby Fischer always suggested, and he has applied it successfully at the World Championship as well. So why not going for the King's Indian defense? So we have the e4. Now white is controlling a lot of square in the center, and we are not afraid of any of the pawn push in the center after this castle, because knight can just retreat to d7 square. Here there are so many moves possible. You could play the knight move. This is the book recommendation, or you could go for another move like f3 was also played. But now we have e5. We just want to ask, what do you want to do with the center? Because if the center collapse, then we are going to have a good game. Knight could also jump to c6 before we could play this e5. You could directly go with the knight c6 and allow this pawn push to happen, so that you might want to jump in the center, attacking the bishop and attacking this pawn, attacking eliminating this bishop from the center. So this was also possibility, but we did not go for this. We have the pawn push. And now we invite him to push the pawn. That's the main line here. Everyone is just going for the same. But knight to d7. Now this knight is coming to c5. And okay, my opponent played this b4. But this is not the way to go. White can just castle here, play f3 or bishop to c2. Everything is good. But now after this b4, this is slightly losing, but not that much. Let's see. We just play the knight move, and our plan is very clear. Let me just show you. Knight is now jumping to this f4 square, and we want to give a free pawn, because after this takes, not that takes, after this takes, bishop takes, we have this bishop diagonal open up, and this would be hanging, and really a good position for us, and this knight would be jumping on this e5 square. That's my plan. So I just he played the bishop move obviously, and now the pawn push. In this line, whenever you play the King's Indian defense, you always want to push e5 and f5, so that we can undermine the pawn chain. This pawn is really weak, and once this pawn is taken, we can undermine this pawn, or you can start pushing, bringing the knight in the game. Bishop is very active on this f5 square, so everything is good here. So after this pawn push, we just try to jump with the knight, and we are relying on the fact that after this knight takes, let's say, capture, pawn capture, our bishop diagonal will just be opened up. So that's the good stuff here. So he captured with the knight. That's a blunder, and now we are winning the game after this pawn capture. Bishop moves. Obviously this was not possible. You cannot really go with this bishop, capture this pawn, because we have the bishop takes, and this king and rook is fogged. So really not a way to go. Now this knight is jumping, attacking the bishop, and we want him to take with this pawn, still attacking this bishop, going for some check. So bishop has to be saved first, and now there was the crucial moment that we could deliver a check, and then king would stay in the center. We could then take the pawn, develop the bishop, bring the other rook in the game, and this was really a bad game for white, and we could eventually win the game easily. But I just captured with the pawn. I thought, okay, what is this bishop would be coming here if you really capture, or if you don't capture, then bishop would be coming, or we have the pawn push then. So I just relied on this fact. So he captured with the pawn, but knight capture was good. If you capture with the knight, I thought, okay, we could just play the bishop to f5, and both the bishop looks really wonderful here. But he captured with the pawn. That's the blunder, and now we just push the pawn. Queen check is still the precise move, but we just push the pawn. And what is happening here? This invites a very wonderful idea. because when he captured with the pawn, this is a really mistake or blunder you can consider, because now there is a forced mate in 5 moves. So you can pause the video to try. Yes, the first move you would have seen this queen check. We have to start with the check, king move. We have the bishop check, but now you have to spot the very brilliant idea which I spotted with this knight capture, this f3 square, and this is really remarkable. Because now we just give the free knight if you really want to capture, because this is defended once and queen is really attacking this knight with the bishop battery. But now we free up the bishop diagonal, and once you free up the bishop diagonal, this is the well-known checkmate with 2 bishops. So he captured, and when I delivered a check with the bishop, guess what? My opponent just resigned the game here. There is nothing better, you can just block with the bishop, but this would be just a checkmate. Let me just do this, and this is the Boren's mate. You already know, 2 bishop checkmate. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you soon in my next video. But before that, little bit of information for young chess players. If you want to learn, or your kids want to learn at the international level, or you want to play at the national level, participate good tournament, then this is the chance. You can learn from grandmasters to reach that level, and that would be really good. And for chess coaches, if you really want to get the FIDE title and teach somewhere at schools, institution, or anywhere, the link would be in the description, and both the seminars are really good. So you really want to just get into it. So see you soon in my next video.